There's a view back to Dawson. Coming around the high cliff side, which isn't very common because that's where the faster water is. And there's that big open lead on the river. And I'm headed in this direction towards Fort Reliance and hopefully ultimately to 40 Mile. I came off the Yukon River here, 11 kilometers after Dawson, on the way towards 40 Mile, and started heading up this trail. Oh, my fingies are freezing. I need the bigger gloves, like right now, would be good. And I came around the corner to this little cabin in the woods where I get to stay instead of being in a hotel. Nothing beats being out here. And there's the cache. All the engineering that goes into keeping the squirrels out of your food. And I'll show you my cache here. I've created, this is my cache right here. There's my gluten-free bread that I brought all the way from town. I'm so excited to have gluten-free for another day or so.
I left Dawson, headed for the Alaskan border after reconnecting with Earl. Earl was with the Canadian Rangers putting in the Quest Trail the day that I quit, way back on day 12, when the first extreme cold snap came in. Earl lives in a very remote cabin at Clinton Creek, about 80 kilometers downstream of Dawson. He agreed that if I got myself out there, he'd snowmobile me back to Dawson so I could fly home. I had itchy feet to hit the trail again, but a few more nights were forecast at -30. I wasn't keen to set up camp in that again. But another lucky encounter led me to Tommy and Dawn, who owned a cabin at the old Fort Reliance site. I headed there to wait out the cold snap. At the place where Fort Reliance was in the 1870s. And all that's left of Fort Reliance is a few pilings, I think, are under snow right now, and some holes. So I went tromping around a little bit to look at holes in the snow, and fell into some holes myself. Now I'm cozied up in this cabin, and this is a good place. As are all cabins, good places. So much better to me than a hotel. The one thing I really love about a hotel is that it has running water. Like, you just turn on the tap and water that's purified comes out of it. You don't have to boil it. You don't have to turn it from snow into water first. It's quite amazing. And I really, every time I do these kinds of things in the wilderness, that's the one thing I really come to appreciate over and over again is clean drinking water. I was thinking about this feeling that I had right before I left the hotel this morning. And it happens every time I go to leave a hotel. There's this like tiny bit of angst that comes up. I think, okay, it's easier and it's more comfortable to just stay in the hotel, just do city things. Just the moment I step outside, there's just
there's like a chemical that must get released in my brain. This is the moment I step outside, it's just, I'm so at peace. I'm so relaxed when I'm outdoors. And a real sense of freedom and of being, unencumbered. I sit here and I can look out this window for ages. There's not a whole lot of action out there. There's not a whole lot going on. But I can do that very comfortably, and I can look at the different snow mounds hanging from the trees and the boughs and the branches and the animal tracks. It's very easy for me to be in the present moment when I'm in nature. I need to find out how to be more in the present moment all the time, when there's like things coming at you from every different direction, and phones ringing and emails binging and brochures coming in the post about who you should vote for. This present moment is all we really have. Even when there's the stinky smell of kerosene. I'm in a moment. I'm in the present moment with the smell of kerosene. Okay, I just fell down a crevasse. I mean, it's a very small crevasse. The sign up there says danger. And I noticed that some people have been putting in a trail over there. But yeah, this is a little hidden one, little snow bridge across it. And right down. Okay, I'm going to get out of the hole now. Today is definitely the day of little river crevasses. So this one is quite obvious because you can see it on that side, and then on this side here it's not obvious there, but if you're looking either side you'll spot it. But it's definitely been a day where I just have to keep watching for those little lines, little indentations everywhere, or I have a leg disappear on me, which has happened twice now. That's 2 crevasses now in less than a minute. It's approaching whiteout. I mean, like, it looks like visibility is awesome, except you can barely see where the trail is. I've come off of it so many times. Mother Nature might be telling me it's a day to sit and read my book and wait for the sun to come out. It's improving in front of me, looking towards 40 Mile. It's brightening up a bit. That's the nasty whiteout-ish type stuff I've just come through that almost made me stop. I really like looking in this direction. The wind's coming from behind me. I hope it's not pushing it back into me. But there's always a tent and a book. If Follow me. I will show you the lost art of snowmobile track hunting. See, there's a remnant of one right here. This tells me I'm on the trail. Look, that one's even more clear. Look at that line right there. It's definitely the trail. Yep. It's a lost art. Snowmobile trail hunting. Oh, look, there's a bit as well just underneath this snow mound. I've got some lines here. Yep. Wonder if I can make money at this. That should be the junction of 40 Mile River coming out right there onto the Yukon. It looks really, really close, and I reckon it could still be at least 3 kilometers. The distances are so deceiving. The site of the first town in the Yukon. I'll have walked from the capital of the Yukon now to the place that was the first town. 508 miles. And we'll have a squirrel alarm for that. I am at 40 Mile. This is amazing. This was the first town in the Yukon. It had the first post office in the Yukon, the first Northwest Mounted Police Detachment. It's a historic migration route for the caribou, for the, I think it's pronounced Han people, First Nations people. All alone, me and a whole bunch of squirrels that I keep disturbing. Exploring. I was starting to wonder where Earl and Sandy's place was. And then the massive dogs. Hi, puppies. Hey. Hello, massive dogs. You really are.
After a night with the 4 massive dogs, 1 massive cat, and a massive frying pan collection, I headed up the 40 Mile River to finish my journey with a camp at the Alaskan border.
He said it didn't get windy on the 40 Mile River. I'm hoping it's just because I'm in a tight little twisty-turny valley part and the wind's getting funneled. It's gonna break any moment. Another very beautiful, unique bit of overflow on the 40 Mile River. And it's still windy for a river that's not supposed to be windy. It's windy. It's a headwindy wind too. Okay, back to the overflow. Cabins really have their ups and downs, like pros and cons. One of the biggest cons, I guess, for a cabin is this thing that happens every time my blood will change. Like when I get outdoors like this, my blood thickens up. And if I spend time in a warm cabin, I drink a whole bunch of water, my blood thins out again. That's just a natural thing that the blood does. And so, having been in a cabin last night that was warm, I've probably peed like 8 times in 5 hours, and it's not like a couple drops, it's like a normal amount of pee. It's not like I have an infection or anything. I just have to go through this thing again of having my blood thicken up. One of those things that, like, if I ever think I'll covet a cabin too much, then I have the reminder that you get to dry your gear, but then you're also going to be stopping and fighting with your, well, let's not say fighting, let's not be so negative, manipulating the 3 layers of adventure pants. I'm approaching the Alaskan border, and this sure does look like a tempting camping spot. Look at that. Wood and a tramped out spot and everything left by a musher who rested his dogs. Wonder how close I am to the border. Here it is, the Alaskan border. And somebody had a little fun. Now that might just make some people turn back. Oh. I'm in Alaska. I walked 530 miles, 850 kilometers, and I'm in Alaska. And the border is just right back there, by South Boundary Creek. I'm on the 40-mile river, and I saw a nice spot just back there where a musher had rested his dogs with straw, and he's tramped out a really nice spot. So it's going to be a great place for me to camp. And I'm getting picked up tomorrow. I'm just going to enjoy tonight. And I've got coffee. Yay! I haven't had dinner yet, but I've made a fire for fun. It's basically for fun. I am drying my gloves, which mostly got wet from digging up dead logs to make the fire. Yeah. Cheers. Tonight's delicacy for what I think is my last night of winter thru-hiking camping is kind of a staple of sorts. I have in here a gluten-free cereal, some coconut flakes, chia seeds, almond flakes, a little bit of granola, and hemp hearts. Oh, and there's some chunks of dates all stuck together. And then the Udo's oil provides the liquid for the whole mix. Oh, and there's sunflower seeds I can see in there too. Did I say almond slices as well? Yeah, pretty much if there's something I could think of that's got a lot of calories and is yummy, I put it in there. And it's all being served beside a roasty toasty fire with my coffee, my hot coffee. It's a real luxury. It's day 38, and I think it's the last morning I'm going to be waking up in my cozy tent, which would mean it's my last morning of waking up in my clammy VBL, which is this thing here, which is the usually what I refer to as either my rubbish bag or my condom, which protects me from putting moisture from my body into my down sleeping bag as I sleep. And it's a special kind of clammy feeling to sleep in a plastic bag. And it's developed a special kind of smell, which I think came from one of my pairs of socks. There are lots of special experiences about winter camping and through hiking. It's not just the camping. You have to combine it with the through hiking. One of the things that I love about this place, and it's not just the terrain, the topography, the stillness, the silence, the animal tracks, the beauty of the snow and the trees and the rocks and the cliff sides with the hanging trees and the stars. I have a lucky star. I think it's actually a planet, but maybe it's a star. It's really bright. The authenticity of the people that I meet. People just seem to show up as they are. Maybe there's some pretense because maybe that's just, that's part of humans' nature is to put on faces. But it sure seems like people show up much more authentically here than in other places I've lived. People who are in such close connection with nature, with the earth, with subsistence living, with living with one with nature. People seem so practical and pragmatic. Yeah, I feel very accepted and not weird. And there's a lot of probably quirky personalities here, and you can be quirky and it seems part and parcel of it, maybe. And this is just so comfortable. It's just so good to be able to feel like you can show up as who you are. There might be a bit of judgment around, like if you didn't seem to have outdoor sense or safety sense, that's like life and death kind of stuff, and that's like you could potentially put somebody else at risk if you put yourself at risk. This is a good place. I'll miss it again. Thanks, Yukon. I was wondering what my 40th day would bring in Dawson City as I wait for my flight tomorrow, and I found out about this Midnight Dome. That's Dawson down there. West Dawson would be on the other side of the river over there. And that's the Yukon coming around, and the Klondike, whoa, the Klondike is flowing in from this side over here. You can really see the impact of the dredging on the Klondike. there, and then going back into the hills back there is the route. That's the way that I came out from King Solomon Dome. This one is Midnight Dome, the land of the midnight sun, and I'm going to continue onwards to the summit. 10 minutes ago, I'm in the trees sweating, climbing, and now I'm in minus 30 something. Freeze your fingers off, and holy doodle, there's some amazing mountains, and there's the Yukon River. Does this balaclava make my face look round? I think it does. I just came off of Midnight Dome, which is the 900 meter or so hill above Dawson City. It was a heap good climb, and it's like only minus 15 or something. But there's this wicked north wind that as soon as I got to the top, it was like all layers on, down jacket on, balaclava on, extra gloves on. Everything was on. And now I'm descending, and in the steeper parts you can slide on your bottom, and that's really good fun. And normally I'm not such a daredevil to do things like that. And I just sat down in the snow here because I don't want to leave this place. That's why. That's hilariously fun. This is the way we go to town. So it's the 40th night in Dawson City on the edge of the Yukon River. And I've come out to have a look for northern lights, and they are there. This is my home, if I ever had one. It's the most comfortable place mentally for me. It's absolutely alone in the dark, in the stillness, in the silence, with the stars and the northern lights and the white of the snow and the black of the trees in the dark. This is my mental home.